ready to start a new project today. Finalize all the details with my customer. What they're looking for is a coffee table, an entertainment wall unit, not a very big entertainment wall unit, basically 30 inches high, 60 inches wide, so they put their, the stereo and the receiver in there, some speakers, and also 2 end tables. This is a fairly big project for me. It's going to take a while to build it, but what I'm going to do is try to encapsulate it all in one video, so I won't be able to go into the details of each of the build like I normally do with some of my projects, because I just want it to be a comprehensive type of video for people to watch. All right, this is the wood they're going to be using to build the project. The reason why I laid it out like this and filming this is I just wanted to show the different color variations of the mahogany that we had picked out. And if you're purchasing wood, you got to take that into consideration with certain species more than others. Now with mahogany, there's definitely great variation in the different colors, which is fine, but you just need to think about that when you're purchasing the wood. So here I've laid out the few of the boards, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to reference my cut sheet and mark these individual boards, so it makes it a lot more manageable, so I can cut them into smaller pieces, so then I can use them to either running through my joiner or my planer, even in the table saw. But here's an example of just me going through and just cutting up the individual pieces. Like I said, the purpose is just to make it a lot more manageable. So here's my joiner, got a split screen going here, and what I'm doing is basically planing off one side of the board as I run it through, and then I'll be running it through the edge to get a perfectly 90-degree angle. So that makes it nice to deal with when you're cutting it through your table saw, so you got a nice reference. But here what I'm doing is I'm actually going to run it through my planer, so I got one side that's perfectly planed, and now what I'm going to do is I'll have that face down, and then the planer will take it off from the top, and I can get a specified thickness for my component, obviously referencing the cut sheet for each individual component. So what I wanted to show here is all 3 of these pieces all come from the same board, and as you can see the different color variation. This was the back side of the board, this was the front side of the board, and this board right here, which is the same as this, but this already ran through the joiner. And so what the joiner does, it allows you to basically plane the top and the bottom surface perfectly square along with an edge. So you run the one side, you run the other side through the joiner, and then you run the edge along the joiner, and you get a perfectly 90-degree angle here. And this is basically what you would find in your box stores, like your Home Depot or Lowe's. And so purchasing it this way, rough cut, it's a lot cheaper to purchase it. Not that you could buy mahogany from Home Depot or Lowe's, but that's why you pay a lot of money to have it in this state. The other thing that I just want to show up, so this is perfectly square, it's solid, and if we do it to this one here, you can see how it wobbles. It's all over the place, and it's normal. I mean, that's when you buy it rough cut, that's what ends up happening. And here you can actually see, it's a darker color. It just might have been through the kiln process with other boards laying in there and some moisture on it. And same thing with this over here. But anyways, you get to the point. So I just wanted to show, again, same board, but this is what we end up with. So this is one of the tabletops. I'm not sure if it's for the coffee table or the entertainment. What I'm doing here is trying to see how the three pieces, I have to pin these three together to make the top, but you want it to, you know, obviously look good. So you're basically looking how the grain pattern matches with each of the boards and try to find the best combination. This takes a while sometimes, you know, sometimes you flip them around, you flip it over, you move them around. So there's multiple combinations before you actually figure out what's the best look for the piece. Here I'm using my domino joiner, and I use dominoes basically to tie, in this case here, the three pieces of boards together for the top. So I space them out every, I think it's maybe every 8 to 10 inches. And what the dominoes do, they just help with the alignment. They don't provide any strength for the top. The glue handles all that. So you'll see it as it flips over here. You'll see the domino holes, and then there's actually a domino that will fit right in there. You'll see then in the next process how that's all handled. Over here I'm just basically laying everything out. This is the gluing process. I got my clamps ready. If you can see it, I put the dominoes in there, and now I'm just snapping things together and tightening them up. Just cleaning off the excess glue, clamp them down, and leave it for 24 hours. So here I need to cut the edge to the appropriate length, and I got to make sure that everything is square. But before I do that, I just want to test out and put the side cap on. It's a piece of sapele, so it's darker, so it gives a nice contrast. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just making sure that everything is square. So not only do you measure the length and the width of it, you want to do the diagonal, make sure that it's exact. So that's what I'm doing here. Just pretty meticulous in this part of it. If it's not square, it's, first of all, it's not, things are not going to fit together, and it's not going to look good. And so that's that end cap that you saw previously. I needed to cut it to size on my table saw. So I'll have this on both ends. And here I'm just basically gluing it up, obviously using the dominoes. This might be a better way of seeing how the dominoes actually fit into the side. So what we're doing here is, what's important here is to get a lot of glue on this, because you're basically you're gluing an end grain to a long grain. So you got to make sure you got a lot of glue there to hold that together. And so obviously here, just spreading it out, just make sure that I got enough glue. And then I'll be able to pin this on one of the ends, and obviously have another piece for the other end. We'll see that shortly. So here I'm just speeding it up, doing a time lapse here. I'm going to do this on both sides. As you can see, I was pretty liberal with the amount of glue, but this is when you have an end grain and a long grain, like I said in the earlier part of the video. You want that bond to be, you know, obviously very strong. So here, basically, got everything all set, and I'm going to clamp it the two ends to the centerpiece. And as you can see, the wood, the nice contrast of the lighter mahogany versus the sapele which is the end caps to it. That's gonna turn out really nice once I finish it. Okay, I glued up the ends. Obviously, I got to cut them off here, but you can see the nice contrast between the side edges and over here. I mean, it's going to pop like crazy. So that's the entertainment unit. And my clamps, my longest clamps were actually a 1/2 inch too short. So I basically doubled up like this and clamped it on the side. So I'm going to leave this for 24 hours. So I can't do anything else in the shop. I'll come back down and clean up, but all right, I'm going to do this one sitting down. So this is the coffee table. It's obviously upside down. Nothing's been glued or anything like that. What I like to do is take the pieces of wood and lay them out the way they're going to look once everything gets assembled, and compare that to the drawing, the CAD drawing that I made, which I was very pleased with, and so was the customer. But sometimes when you actually see things put together, there's certain things I didn't like. Like one of the things, it's a minor thing, but the support rail here that goes all the way across the bottom of the coffee table, it was too high up. It looked too bulky. So I had to cut that down. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to have to make a profile over here, a rounded profile here. I haven't decided what I'm going to do there, but this is not going to be, you know, a rectangular box at the end there. It's going to look nice. And there's some other features that I want to do. I'm going to obviously round the corners. I'm going to put a chamfer, a 45-degree chamfer on the tabletop. And lastly, I'm going to support the legs from rocking. I'm going to have a support rail between the two. I'm going to do a mortise and tenon. This will be going through the center here, and this will stick out maybe a 1/4 of an inch. I'll give a nice visual appeal, and it'll provide some strength and stability between the two legs. Obviously, the other leg will be getting the same thing. So in summary, sometimes you can do something and, you know, a CAD drawing, everything looks great, but to actually look at it, you'll end up tweaking a few things. So that's it for now. So now what I'm working on is, this is one of the 4 legs. I'll have to do it to all 4. And this is the, like in the previous video I talked about stabilizing the legs. So there'll be a support cross member that goes through the legs, 2 of the legs on each side. And this is how I do it. I basically drill it out, and then you'll see in the next video where I basically got to clean it up with the chisel. Oh, here we go. So it's a bit tedious, but the end result looks good. I do have a sample of what it will look like in the next video here. So this has to be done to all 4 legs for both the coffee table and the entertainment. So here's my sample. Probably not going to protrude out that much, but it's, like I said, it's just a test one. So this is without any things going through the middle. So I think that's the best angle right there. All right. So this is underneath the, this is the coffee table. Basically what I got to do is create a, basically a mortise and tenon for the cross member. So what I'm going down here is about 1/4 of an inch. And then this is the cross member right here. And all I'm doing is rounding over the edge. But as you can see where my fingers are, that section will snap inside of that piece that you saw me router out. Nothing really special here, but it's just showing the how I get around profile. Here what I'm doing, this is one of the 4 legs, and I'm using a dado to basically clear off a section that will basically connect to the support member of the coffee table underneath. It'll make more sense once you see it. So I use the dados. You can take off a larger section at a time, and I've got this marked obviously. Oh, here I'm going back to doing a round over on a cross member support. Yep, I guess some more rounding off. Basically, you don't want any slivers, right? So, oh, there you go. So there's a snapshot of test fit right now for all the components. Now I'm just moving on to basically sanding. Every woodworker's favorite part of the job, but it's a necessary evil. So what I was doing there is marking the pencil mark, and that tells me how much I need to take off from the sand. Once the pencil mark disappears, then you know you stop. You don't sand that area anymore. So what I've been doing lately with all my projects now, I'm using distilled water. I'm filling the spray bottle, and I spray the wood. And what the water does, it raises the fibers of the wood up. So when you sand, you get a much smoother surface. And I generally do this to the last couple grits. So I'll spray water on it, let it dry, sand it, and then I'll spray water again, sand it with a higher grit, and I do this for the last 2 or 3 grits. This makes a much smoother surface, and I've definitely seen an improvement in the results of my work. It's a little more work, but I believe it's just much better. So now I just want to show how I get the rounded edges. What I do is I make a template. As you can see, it's that MDF piece there, that 1/4 inch. And I basically, with the router bit there, I'm just following that profile, and it'll give me a nice consistent round over for all 4 sides. So the collar slipped, and now I got this indentation in here. Oh, damn it. From the top here, you can see it. So I'm just going to make the radius bigger here and redo the other side. Okay, we were able to fix that problem. I actually like the larger radius now. So now we're doing a nice round over profile for each of the top, as you can see in the video there. So here I'm doing a dry fit to make sure everything fits together. before I do the glue up process. This will allow you to make whatever additional adjustments to make sure everything fits together. So this actually takes some time, believe it or not, because there's always something that needs to be tweaked, and when you change something, you got to adjust something else. But yeah, if you take your time, it's going to look really nice. So there you can see all the support members. And that's basically it. So the dry fit's done, and I'm ready for the glue up. At this point, the glue up is complete. I'm applying the Osmo on the coffee table. I generally put 2 coats on everything except for the top. The top I actually put 3 coats on, just to make sure it's very durable. Now that the coffee table is done, I'm moving on to the entertainment unit. I got a little gap there. I gotta take care of that. But anyways, so this is the bottom, obviously, which looks actually quite nice. Obviously finished the leg, did it right this time. So the next thing is to put these panels in. So basically what I'm gonna do is mortise here, all the way in here, and then all the way up here, go all the way around so it sits right in there. Basically like a floating panel. So I got to do that on both sides. Obviously this one's missing because it's over here. All right, the panels are done. Everything went really well. I took my time, make sure I didn't mess anything up. But the job for today is to put the final shelf. That's going to be about 7 inches from the top of the entertainment unit. I need to build out a support bracket over here. Same thing on the other side for the shelf to rest on. The shelf is 3/4 of an inch, so it's not as thick as the main support where all the electronic equipment is going to be sitting on. That's why that one's much thicker. But what I'll also need to do for this other shelf is I need to provide some kind of support in the middle because it's only 3/4 of an inch thick, and with a large span like this, you don't want it to bow down over time. So I'll have some kind of a support, something not too intrusive, so when you're actually looking at it, because they're going to have other, probably it's like trinkets or something. I don't know what they're going to put in there, this 7-inch shelf there. But regardless, I need to provide some kind of a support. And then over here, this is where the doors are going to go. It's actually going to be 2 sliding doors, so they can go past one another, so you can slide it over. It's going to be glass, so I'll be encasing that in black walnut. I do have the track mechanism that I purchased from Rockler, yeah. But first time doing that, so we'll see how that turns out. So busy day today. Let's see how it goes. Here I wanted to do a close-up and show what was involved in building out each of the sides with the legs and the cross-member support, the panel, and the bottom cross-member, which then ties into the bottom of the top of the entertainment unit. So you got a bunch of mortising, and you got a couple tenons here. There's another tenon, and all this stuff, what this allows you to do is tie this all together, and simply just using glue will hold this structure permanently together, and there's no need for any types of screws or any of that, because you definitely don't want it on a piece of furniture like that, especially something that's as heavy as this is going to be. I think it's going to probably be 110 pounds by when it's all done, just because of the thickness of the mahogany and the entire structure, the way we designed it. Okay, these are the all the components that I need to basically glue up for the entertainment unit. I got 2 of the shelves, I got the divider, and I got the side panels. Obviously, these are the legs over here. These are the internal supports between the legs. There's the upper and lower. And then here's a third one for the second shelf. And this is not complete, but these are basically going to be the doors, the sliding doors. So they haven't been cut to size yet. I still got to buy the glass. But anyways, so all this, with the exception of that, all this has to go at the same time as far as gluing. And over here, let me zoom in there. So this right here is obviously the top. I won't be gluing the top to the base, not yet, but I will have to do the 2 shelves. The smaller one is behind this one right here. Those 2 have to be glued up, so it's going to be a pretty hectic glue up process, because everything's got to, not everything's got to go right. So I might do 1 or 2 sample runs just to make sure that I don't mess anything up and put it in reverse or upside down or whatever the case may be. But as you can see, even like in the legs here, the components here, you got a lot of mortise and tenons over here. So all this has got to be glued and then secured in place with the clamps that I have. All right, I decided to do this freehand. So get ready for the glue up process here. Gotta fill in the glue. There's here all the mortise, and then we got some tenons here, right here, down there. So I got to hit this all at the same time. I'll get to the cut-rate paper here. Here's the other one, ready to go here. Got to glue this up all, because all has to happen at the same time. And then the 2 shelves, this is the bottom shelf. This, I'm going to have glue on that. And then this is the second shelf. That's all pinned together. And the reason why I have the cut-rate paper is I don't want any glue to adhere to the base of the table, the top of the table, because I'm not ready to glue that yet. So what I want to do afterwards is literally then take the top off without worrying about having any glue coming out from the crevices from the side panels, and then making its way onto the base top table, which then I won't be able to remove the top. So I'm using a laser to make sure I got my alignment correct for the 2 doors, the glass doors. And then I got a close-up here of the shelves, internal shelves, and a back panel the customer wanted for the shelves to sit on. Those are all removable. So this unit is done at this point. I need to apply the Osmo, and I need to add the 2 sliding doors. All right, what you're seeing here are all the components to build the 2 end tables. Basically got the legs over there, we got the side panels and the front panel for the drawer. Each one of these are going to be the end table tops, and we decided to go with a oak for when you pull out the drawer. The front panel will be the mahogany, but the 2 sides and the back panel, when you pull it out, is going to be the oak. Give it a nice little contrast. Okay, these are the legs for the 2 end tables. I have 9 of them, only because I messed one of them up, so it's always to have a good as an extra. So what I want to talk here is about the grain selection, especially when you're gluing 2 pieces together and you want it to look like one piece. So there's two ways of going about this. You could buy, a thicker stock, which is a lot more expensive than buying two smaller stock and then glue them together. So why would you do that? One, obviously, is the budget. And there is a big difference. So in this case here, I would have to purchase what's called 8/4 to get it down to 1 3/4 inches across for my stock, which is a lot more expensive than if I bought two 4/4 and glue them together. So that's where the grain selection becomes important. So now I'm taking each leg and I'm applying a profile on the bottom of each of the legs. So I'm using my table saw. I have a jig here, as you can see. And what I'm doing is basically raising up the blade to cut the corner off. I will be sanding it so it's nice and smooth. But I go through all 8 legs and just obviously on the bottom. And I think it's like 4.5 inches up from the bottom. All right, just glued up the 2 bottom shelves. That's the first one. That's the second one. There is the tops. And so the important part here is to try to match the grain pattern between the 2 boards. So it's actually going right through here is where they connects together. Now the reason why this is so dark is when you get glue squeezed out, you want to wipe that off so it's a little wet. It'll dry. But it'll get to the point where you won't even be able to tell where the boards came together. So the selection of the boards and also the grain pattern is really important to make it look seamless in the same. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm cleaning off the edges of the tenon, like I said earlier in the video. And I use my block plane here, and it just rested on there, and just a nice smooth cut. You can see it takes off just enough to make it almost perfectly smooth. It's just more of a visual of the thing, just to see that it gets down to, and that makes it perfectly square, as you can see. So I just do it to all 8 sides of the tenon. All right, these are 2 of the legs. I need to, the shelf is right over here, need to be able to set them inside the, on each of the leg posts. And so basically what we have here is, here's the leg post that is not done. And then this is a groove that I need to cut out. And the machine that I use for that is my Mortison. And I discussed that in an earlier video where this guy right here that actually broke. Well, as it turns out, it wasn't stripped. It's actually the key came out. And so basically the armature basically kept rotating around. So I got lucky. I had a friend of mine come over and help me. We got it working, so it's working out perfectly. So most of the time it's just setting up the distance from here to here, so you can then cut out the notch from right here. It's not 100%. I still got to go with a chisel and make the hole just a little bigger, but you can control things a lot better using this in conjunction with a chisel, and then I'll get some nice a nice clean fit. And here I have a speed up video of how that's done. Once you got it set up, it moves fairly quickly. And here, basically using the chisel to refine the space where the shelf will slide in, obviously glue it and make that very secure. All right, got the bottom shelf. Only one of them I got done today. So here's the front. Might be hard to see. There's a ledge here. This will be obviously glued on. And then you can see how it snaps in there, and once that gets glued in there, I'll round the corners off here, just a little bit here, but yeah, so I had to cut all these in, these right here, so I just got done, so I'll do the other one tomorrow. So that gives you an idea. That's the top. So at this point, I did a quick video, sped it up. This is the glue up process for both the end tables. This went quite well. The key to this is after the glue squeezes out, yet you clean it up, or else it could actually stain the wood. And then when you apply, in my case, I'm using Osmo, you would see it, it wouldn't take very well. So very important to do a cleanup. There you have it, the final product. 2 identical end tables. Dimensions are 24 inches from the bottom to the top, 18 inches wide, and the top is 22 inches. Each one of these have a drawer. I'll do a close-up so you can actually see a little bit better. So I'm opening up the drawer here. Customer wanted deep drawers. This is made out of oak. And I basically have a trim here of the mahogany wood, and got sapele up here up front. There's no mechanical guides on this. Customer wanted everything just all wood, so this just slides in and out there real easy. Obviously, they wanted a shelf on the bottom, and let me see if I can tilt the top so you can see the top. So it's beautiful, beautiful grain. And the customer also wanted not to just have this open, but basically have some kind of facade here. And this actually matches something very similar to their recliner that they have in the living area. And it's basically the same layout, so I wanted to replicate that so it actually matches, because they'll be next to the recliner and the other ones could be next to their sofa. So that's pretty much it. And here we have the entertainment portion. I don't have the glass doors in this picture. Here I took the coffee table and just applied it into a more formal background, but to give you an idea of what it looks like. Well, you made it through the entire video. Thank you. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe, I'd very much appreciate that. And leave a comment. Let me know what you liked about the project and also on the video, so I can improve on the next one that I produce. Thank you so much. Bye.